So do nice guys finish last? I just joined. No, they don't. And I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to break it down because there's a big difference between nice guys and people pleasing and also being rude.
Yeah.
Everything, let me tell you, in my life, I view as metaphor, linguistically, posturally, with body language, who and what shows up into your life. It's all metaphor. And when you choose to see it that way, you can know a lot about your subconscious mind, because how you're programmed on the inside is what you're going to see a reflection of the outside. And the more inner work you've done, the less chaotic that transcription is going to be. We could call it that. All right.
Listen, I have had Kate on my podcast. I'm the host of the Rhino Show podcast, global top 1% in the world. And we literally stumbled on Kate's TikTok, and she talked about, do nice guys finish last? And the way she delivered the message was absolutely insane. So anyways, fast forward, we had her on the show. The feedback was absolutely incredible. And I said, look, let's do a live. So we are here for our first ever mutual TikTok live. So Kate, welcome back. But let's unpack this. I mean, where did you get this notion of putting out these provocative yet backed by science type videos on TikTok?
Okay, where did I get the notion to do it?
Yes.
I'm so I I'll just be honest here. I love sex. Like, I love sexuality. I think it's fascinating. It's a part of our human biology that you can't ignore. That is just there. And so I've kind of just been on this journey of like, well, how conscious can I become of that biological drive, and then also how can I use it to deliver messages that are for the greater good of all? Because I actually, my number one purpose of showing up online is literally sovereignly and from my heart to be of service. And that includes the mind, that includes the emotions, that includes dating, that includes sex, that includes like all of the things that make. And yeah,
Yes.
I know.
Listen, so here's the thing, right? From the male perspective, what I loved about what you did was, when we talk about toxic masculinity and things like this, especially from the male perspective, there's always this expectation in society for males to, kind of come across a certain way. And let's be honest, I think right now there's almost a thing that's demonizing
Yeah.
a man being like a man and showing those masculine features. Now what I mean by that is, it's not, hey, I got to come in the room and push my way around or anything like that, but it's just,
Right.
hey, we want to feel confident in our own body, our own soul, and our own presence. But when I seen your video come down, I said, look, she's kind of managing to get our attention and poking at us, but then actually trying to help us on the back end with science based. So what has
Yeah.
been some of the feedback and kind of the biggest thing to nice guys finish last? Like, what are some of the things that you hear coming in your inbox?
Okay, so here's the main thing that we're speaking to is that there's kind of this very binary thinking about masculinity right now, that either people think like, oh, I want the masculine being, or oh, masculinity is toxic, at least from a woman's perspective, right? Not everyone falls into this category. But the feedback that I've been getting, that's the main thing that I want to make a point here today about do nice guys finish last, is that there's a lot of men, and I would venture to say most, if not all, to varying degrees, that are actually highly sensitive. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because people hear that and they're like, sensitive, that's bad. I don't want that trait. But it's actually just a way that your nervous system is wired. So you can be sensitive kinesthetically, meaning through touch, through feelings, through emotions. A lot of men are that way, through touch, through sound, right? It's of the five senses. And what happens if a man in this society has a highly sensitive nervous system, he's going to pick up the emotions of other people early on growing up. When he does that, he's going to turn on himself because he hasn't learned how to manage appropriately those emotions, and he's going to start building these masks of who he thinks he needs to be in order to be perceived as a masculine being. Now, stick with me because I'm going to get to the point here. But because toxic masculinity is widespread, and this is like the I mean, we know what toxic masculinity is, right? Like it can be hot because it's masculine, but it's also toxic. And so as a woman, you fuck yourself in the end if you get involved with that, right?
Yes.
For a man with a sensitive nervous system to abide by the rules that society has put in place that are toxic masculine, they don't work for him. And so he ends up being unrooted from his masculinity. And that's when he becomes the nice guy. That's when he becomes the people pleaser because he's operating from a mask. But this is the main point. If you listen to anything that I say today, it is this: the niceness is not the problem. Niceness is great. I love kindness. I love niceness. I love generosity. I love all of that. But what happens is when the man thinks he's being nice, but really it's a subconscious manipulative tendency to people please in order to get his needs met. And that's the work. And that's what I do in my program, Mastery for Men. The link is in my bio, is I teach you how to fucking stop that because I love you. Because they love you so much, and I want you to be in your masculine, but your masculine, if you're sensitive, it's not toxic. It's different. It's unique. It's better than toxic.
Let me interject here for a sec. So listen, for everybody that's listening, please share this out. Invite people to come to TikTok and again, subscribe to the Ryan Show podcast. But what are some things that you say, hey, this person's being nice, but it could be a little manipulative, and the energy that the woman is picking up on from us males is, making her feel a certain way? What would be some small little things that guys are doing right now to make a woman feel that way? And what are some things that those same guys could do or be a little bit more mindful of to not give off that energy?
Yeah. So I'm gonna answer that question. I'm gonna answer it a little bit differently because to me it's very surface level to talk about what can we do differently in the dating realm. It's really about who you're being, like how engaged and how sovereign and autonomous are you with who you are. And that translates into doing. It's almost kind of like, I used to work with women with eating disorders. I actually still do, but I could tell them, don't binge eat, don't make sure you eat enough calories. If I tell them what to do, or like if I work at rehab once a week, don't do drugs. It's useless information. It's the doing. It's actually about shedding the masks of who you think you've needed to be and becoming who you truly are, but being confident, being rooted, living your life through and through and living that. Like you have to live it, And so I know that's kind of a little bit of a roundabout way of answering it, but it's true. If I were to give you things that they could do differently, here's the problem: is that if they're not living it, if they're not being confident, but I give you tips to be confident and to be masculine, there's going to be a subconscious discrepancy for the woman. She won't know it because she doesn't necessarily know what to look for in terms of body language and things like that, but her gut's going to feel off about it. It's going to be like he's posturing. It's going to have the tasteful, unpalatable sensation.
So self-awareness, I mean, okay, as a man, then if we're looking internal and trying to figure out, are we being who we want to be? It's kind of like that vision of, I'll give a sports analogy. It's like if we're going to go play football and we want to prepare for the game, I mean, we're going to think and feel as though we're going to win and score as many touchdowns as we possibly can. And we're going to train, we're going to prepare for that.
Right.
But come game time, how do we know internally if we're actually feeling that way? And again, that's the energy going from the, off to the female. And like you said, it's surface. But a lot of dudes, I mean, we don't stop to really think, how are we being? How do we feel about ourselves? These are the things where it's, sometimes society, I think, almost looks down upon, where it's like, well, get out there, provide, do these things. And there's these distractions that are happening, right? But self-awareness, how do we dig deep to become this savage servant? And anybody who's listening right now, I think if you're a dude, see, I always felt a nice guy for me was probably one of the people I just did not want to be around. And by nice guys, I mean, nice guys can tend to be passive aggressive, kind of jump to the next goals. A lot of posturing happens. Where savage servants are the kind of guy that's very goal oriented, very okay to be in touch with his emotion. I'm very in touch with my emotion, very proud of it. Can show up as a man, but then when I have my kids come put toothpaste in my hair, I can roll around on the floor, have fun with them. Super comfortable in my own skin, super confident. What's a savage servant for you, Kate? And again, how can we be a little bit more self-aware as males to be who we want to see and become, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's to become more self-aware as males. It's the same for really for any human. It's taking a look at what, I mean, I use the body, right? The body never
Mm,
lies. The body
mm,
never, ever, 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 ever lies to you. And your body loves you unconditionally. And I'll explain why.
mm,
But your mind lies to you all of the time. You
mm.
basically, the part of the mind that makes us human has developed this huge filing cabinet of meanings. And a lot of them are fucked up. Like, you're not good at that, right? Like all the
Yeah.
fucking meanings that we've picked up along the way,
Yeah, yeah,
all of that. And
yeah.
so it hurts, our ego, we could say, when we feel those things. We don't want to be in pain. So in a dating dynamic, in a relationship dynamic, something like this, and we get a vulnerable sensation in our body, that happens first. Our mind takes over and usually has some kind of subset of thoughts that go with it. And then typically what people do, the man in this case, but it goes both ways, they'll project onto the other person. And so the process of self-awareness really comes from, what am I actually feeling in my body? What's somatically, that's the word, what is actually happening in my body, and what program from the past is that tied to, where it's
Mm,
no longer serving me. Because if the man or the person is projecting, it creates disconnection. And connection,
mm,
deep, intimate connection with other humans, is our number one need. So what happens is, if we're not consciously getting our needs met, we're pushing away because we're trying to protect this vulnerable aspect of us. Then that is actually what leads to drinking. That leads to not making a lot of money because you are not
mm,
motivated. That leads to lower levels of testosterone and dopamine. And then all of that shows up in your interaction with dating. So, and relationships and your work and who you think you are and what you think you can achieve in your confidence. So it actually comes down to like taking your awareness from the external, bringing it into your body, finding out what pattern, what program is running that no longer serving you, annihilate it, take off that layer of the mask, and you just keep
mm.
going, just keep becoming more and more authentic, because really the authenticity is what's sexy. But it's the confidence in your authenticity that's sexy as fuck. Like, I'm squirting right now. Can I say that?
Listen, okay, you can say whatever you want. This is
Great.
this is again, right? It's the psychology of, like, you being so brutally honest is what, again, why,
Yeah.
literally we scroll stop and said we have to have Kate on the show. It's this ability to kind of straddle the line, pun
Yeah.
intended, but not go
Total pun.
too far over it, right? Now, you did a video on your TikTok, which I think is one of your most highest viewed videos.
Yeah.
How does a man, what is the one thing we can all do as a man, no matter, regardless of our situation right now, walk through that motherfucking room with confidence? Like, what is the
Yeah.
one thing that any dude right now watching can be
Yeah.
like, yo, I'm gonna end this fucking live, and I'm gonna fucking go and do this confident thing. Give him the one thing. And I
Okay.
need the growl, like I need that
I
thing
know
you
you
do, right?
do.
All
You need
right.
everything. I
Yeah.
would I might have to show you with like my body. I should have set this up where you can actually like see me. And I
That's
have to be
okay.
careful because I'm wearing a skirt and I'm not wearing underwear. God, I say so much weird shit online. Okay, but it's true. The number one thing you can do as a man, and I'm gonna draw it back to the inner work because I have to, because I love you,
Let's
because I
go.
care about you, and because it's important, is to
Let's go.
take up more space with your body.
Yes.
To not cower, right? This body language is I'm blocked. This body language is open. But the number one thing that you can do as a man, I mean, I have a little man spread here going on, is to take up space with your body. It's big dick energy. It's like, that's the video that went viral, is to walk like you have the biggest motherfucking cock ever in the world, because your cock is the root of who you are. It's not all of who you are, but if your head is not partially in your cock, it's not going to be fucking hot. Put your head in your cock, make it big, and be big with your energy, like I'm being, like I can turn it on. And I do this all the time. If I can go out to restaurants and I will literally take my, now we're getting real. I will take my metaphorical cock out and I'll put it on the table when I need to make a fucking point and be masculine. But then I can drop back into my feminine because I like to oscillate and play in the polarity. But it's important for a man to be able to consciously turn on that bigness, to take up space, right? Especially if he can take up space and be slightly asymmetrical, then that's hot as
But
fuck.
but like
And
you
I'm
but
really
like
open
you
about
said
that.
but like you said though, you have the autonomy and the ability to go back and forth.
Yeah,
That middle ground that goes from the masculine down into the feminine, that's where I'm
yeah,
speaking of on the savage servant aspect. It's
right.
it's understanding that, yo, whether you're crying or whether you're acting like, I don't know, fucking number one dude in the world, GI, whatever you want to call yourself, there is no difference in it. It's you who's the commonality, which
Right.
that's where the confidence goes. Like that kind of confidence cannot be broken, in my opinion. Like
No,
literally, you could have your worst day of your life, and people will still be like, "Look at that motherfucker walking the door." Like there's a before they even open up their mouth. It's
it's a
just a
presence.
presence.
Yes. And there's a presence and there's a hierarchy. And people hate that, but it's true. There's a
Mm,
hierarchy subconsciously and in our nervous systems, and your actual neurology is
mm,
sorting for hierarchy. And the
mm,
woman will choose the man of a higher hierarchy. Okay. But this is a neurological thing. This is a choice that as a man, you get to make. You can choose if it's inspiring to you. Yeah, I want to walk in the room and I want to be perceived as the highest hierarchy. Then you got to go download my free hypnosis, Rewired and Inspired. Pretty sure the link's
mm.
in my bio, and
Hit it,
download,
hit
well,
it.
what does that look like for you to be of that high hierarchy? Because your neurology has already assigned, specifically curated, what does that look like? How do you walk? How is that unique to you? What are you wearing? What are you doing? What time are you waking up? What's your boundaries like? Who's in your life? Who's
Mm.
no longer in your life? And you have to start living from that place of higher hierarchy or whatever. Insert whatever it is that you want. You can want whatever you want. Like
I
that's
love
that's the
this.
beauty of it.
I love this. I know we're both pressed for time, so I'm going to put a pin in
I
it
know I
here.
gotta go.
Listen, people who are listening, please check out Kate Cali online, Kate_Cali or KateCali.com,
Yeah.
rhinos.ca. Again, Rhino Show Podcast. I would love to send me a direct message, send Kate a direct message. I want to do these quick little kind of hitters with Kate because I think these are just they're just so impactful. I love them. So follow us. Thank you so much, Kate. Thanks so much for your time. You're awesome.
Thank you.
I don't think there's a more real person on the planet right now.
Thank you.
Much love. You are one of one, my friend. And take care, everybody.
Okay. Bye. All right. I love you.